This is also some breaking news from the Washington Post. Now, before I go into the story about the Washington Post, I want to give a caveat at the beginning. This story that just broke regards to Donald Trump being under investigation for collusion. I'm sorry, for obstruction of justice. Let me correct myself. Obstruction of justice. This is what just broke before our show started tonight. It is based on anonymous sources. I want to give that caveat at the beginning because it's important. It's important for us to realize the nature of this style of journalism. It has always existed. We have always had journalists who use anonymous sources to break stories. It is very possible that this story is 100% true, but I feel it's my responsibility to start at the beginning to say this is yet another story full of anonymous sources. That being said, these anonymous sources are officials affiliated with the ongoing investigation, and the special counsel has now, it's now believed that the special counsel is investigating Trump for possible obstruction of justice. So the special counsel overseeing, according to the Washington Post, overseeing the investigation into Russia's role in the 2016 election is interviewing senior intelligence officials as a part of a widening probe that now includes, quote, an examination of whether Donald Trump, President Trump, attempted to obstruct justice. And this is according to anonymous officials. This runs counter to, first of all, it's major breaking news. If confirmed, the president of the United States, who last week we learned from James Comey was not under investigation at the time that James Comey was the director of the FBI. According to these anonymous sources, President Trump is now officially under investigation for obstruction of justice by the special counsel. This again runs counter to the conversations that FBI Director James Comey had privately with Donald Trump, assuring him that he was not under investigation. It's worthwhile it's worthwhile having a conversation about it because the mere fact that we have a president who is potentially under investigation, and we will know in the next few days whether or not these anonymous sources were accurate in their reporting. I have some broader commentary in regards to this story. And I'm really holding my tongue on this because it's really hell, I've gone this far. This is a crazy time in America. This is absolutely an absurd time in America with the shootings that happened today, with the ongoing investigations, the rampant denial on one side and the blind acceptance on the other side, the fervor with which people scurry to their side of the arguments and accept information, confirmation that so long as it provides a confirmation bias, they will accept it. And if it doesn't, they will reject it as fake news. We are in a very precarious time in the United States of America because one of the worst things that could happen, and whether it happens or not is really out of our hands in America as Americans, but it would be quite destabilizing for Donald Trump to actually be impeached and put out of power. It would be destabilizing not because of America is able to, the structure, the system, the institutions, they're very capable of trucking along with Mike Pence. But it's very disturbing and very destabilizing because of the fever pitch with which we are in America. The level of angst that we have. Here's the problem with it. I am not going to be one to say that one side has to take down over the other, because that creates an asymmetrical fight that gives power to the person or to the side of the equation that can feign the greatest outrage or threaten the greatest amount of backlash. But that in and of itself undermines our ability to not have destabilizing events in America. What I mean by that is the fact that no side is going to take down. The fact that both sides reject anything that breaks, that they don't believe, Anything that breaks their confirmation bias, anything that goes counter to what they believe in their narrative, neither side is going to take down. And we're running headlong into a deeply seated divide that I'm not sure anybody is going to be able to lead us beyond. And that's because we are in this place. That's because we're here now. We're here now where the president of the United States is possibly under investigation if these sources are confirmed or if these sources are accurate. And if the president of the United States is under investigation for obstruction of justice, that means the president of the United States could very well be impeached for obstruction of justice. And that will set some things in motion, because you have one side of the equation who now today feels they feel justified in their outrage against the liberal media. Today, they feel justified against the outrage against progressivism. Today, they feel like they have the right to stand up and protect and defend the Constitution of the United States because liberalism is trying to destroy America. And at the same time, progressives, we can't capitulate to that type of strong-armed terrorism. Okay, I'm going to take that word back. That type of strong-armed antics. That type of, we are so outraged, so you must absolutely take down and let us have our way, and we unify around policies that are going to destroy America. So ultimately, the question is, what do we do as Americans? And can we continue on this track of perpetual outrage, confirmation bias in a system, in an environment, in a time where there seems to be no end to either one of those? This is one of the conversations that I don't have an answer for. I don't have a solution for. I simply do realize that this is where we are, and this is something that we should be cognizant of.